We are honored to be joined by our good friend Regina Egea, who is founder and board chair at Garden State Initiative, one of our longtime partners, and also Bret Silver, vice president for university advancement and external relations at Drew University, a great institution of higher learning. Regina and Bret, great to see you.
Thanks for having us this morning.
You got it, Regina. We'll put up the website for Garden State Initiative to disclose one of our underwriters at State of Affairs, trying to make sense of state fiscal policy. But that is not this topic. Regina, tee this up for us. We had this conversation about our great friend and mentor, extraordinary leader, Tom Kean, former governor, Tom Kean. There is a donation that Garden State Initiative of $50,000 that your organization has made to Drew University in honor of Governor Kean for specifically what? Because it has to do with a great governor's school that's been going on for a while. Go ahead.
Exactly. The governor's school in the sciences at Drew University, which I know Bret will speak about. But we were able to make that donation because we have established this award in Governor Kean's honor that you mentioned. And, you know, he continues to be the most popular governor in the history, recorded history anyway, of New Jersey. And it really is to not just honor all of his contributions as an incredible leader in public service as well as the private sector, his personal characteristics, right, of integrity and honor, right, as well as his, commitment to public service. And, one of the main goals that we have is that this isn't just a quaint notion that these are the qualities of leaders that he was successful with, but that's something that makes government work best. And that's really what we're trying to recognize and remind everyone that he and others who perform like him are able to contribute to the state of New Jersey, and we want to honor that.
Absolutely. And Governor Kean, also the former president at Drew University, a leader in education for decades in this state and this nation. Bret, pick it up from there. Talk about how these $50,000 grant from Garden State Initiative will be used to impact and benefit students who are looking to go into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and its connection to leadership. Please, Bret.
Well, first of all, we're extremely grateful to have received this gift, and it's extra special to be in the name of Governor Kean, who lives on very large here at the Drew community with our alums and with everybody who's part of Drew. The beauty of the governor's school is that it's tuition free. Students from high schools all over the state are nominated by their teachers, and they come together in community for several weeks for an in-dorm, together, in-person experience where everybody is on an equal playing field. They form an incredible community among themselves. Many of them walk out of here and say they felt for the first time that they could actually be a scientist. They find their voice, they find their community, they find their peers. They do incredible scientific research. When I go to the poster session every year, I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. They are so far advanced in the science. And then they go out into the world and they go to Research One universities, they go to community colleges, they form part of an important scientific community in higher education, and then they go off into the world and they do incredible things in STEM fields.
Well said. Regina, how rewarding is this for you and the team at Garden State Initiative?
Well, as a policy organization, it is policy in action, right? This is having an impact, we feel, on these students specifically that are in the governor's program and at Drew University writ large, that recognize and contribute to those who I hope will stay in New Jersey and contribute to a richer, fuller public life that we all want to have in the state.
Let me ask you this, without getting deep into the curriculum. From your perspective, Bret, I often try to understand the connection between technology, science, and leadership. Artificial intelligence, STEM, and leadership. Am I off base here, Bret? There's a connection.
No, well, I mean, this is a burgeoning curricular field, right? I mean, things are changing. Things are changing as we speak. And we at Drew are thinking about this at the higher ed level. But we have to remember that students in high school who are digital natives in the way that people of our generation are not, and our faculty isn't necessarily, they come to this program with a different perspective on digital work, on AI work. And so I think it's fair to say that our faculty and the students who come have an interchange. They're learning from one another. And we are also looking at how does AI and how does technology intersect with the future workforce and what future leaders are going to need to know. And what we're learning, and we're seeing it every day, is that we don't actually know, right? We don't know for sure. We can't dictate to the students exactly what they're going to take from these classes and go off into their work lives, which are still, 6, 7, 8 years away. But there's absolutely a connection between technology education, leadership, and we hope that a lot of the students who come through here will be on the forefront, right, of going out into the world and taking this knowledge and redefining what some of leadership and workforce looks like.
Regina, I want to follow up on what Bret just said. And you and I have had these offline conversations. And by way of background, let folks know that you do have a background in government leadership positions, including, please share with folks.
It's chief of staff to both Governor Christie as well as the treasurer while I was in the state of New Jersey.
So here's why I wanted people to know that as I ask this question. I often try to connect leadership and trust, or leadership and the lack of trust, leadership and the importance of trust. One of the things about Governor Kean, and I served in the legislature for a short period of time when the governor was the governor in the mid-1980s, and I understood that he had this unique ability, even when people disagreed, he would disagree with them, they disagree with him, to build trust. The degree of trust that most people have in government is nowhere near what Governor Kean in the 80s experienced in New Jersey. Here's the question. Also, when he was the co-chair of the 9/11 Commission with then Democratic Congressman Lee Hamilton, one Republican, Tom Kean, one Democrat, Lee Hamilton, analyzing and trying to make sense of what the horrific events of 9/11. Why is that relevant?
Well,
in the work, I'm sorry for interrupting. In the work you're doing, how important is creating trust in government for these students?
Well, the level of cynicism, I think, and as you say, distrust in many, of the structures and the, not only just government, but I think in general, our societal structures.
In media, in higher ed, in all kinds of organizations.
Exactly. It's just extraordinarily high, I think. My assessment is very high right now. And one of the ways that we can help impact that as a policy organization is to bring credible both ideas and substantial research and hold up leaders like Governor Kean in terms of has worked, can work, and will be important for going forward for those who want to go into both public, frankly, as well as the private sector. And the only way one rebuilds that is consistency. And I think one of the things that I always heard, at least while he was governing, you were there, but Bret speaks about it at Drew University, is he's very community building oriented, which means you have to get to know the people, you have to listen to them, as well as incorporate. And he's a big, as you know, his book about the politics of inclusion is one of his fundamental principles. And these are the things that I think people really will latch on to, and that's how you build trust.
A giant. Tom Kean is a giant, not just in government in the state of New Jersey and the country, but also in higher education and education overall. So this, to repeat, Garden State Initiative, one of our terrific partners, a grant of $50,000 to Drew University in honor of Governor Tom Kean to support the New Jersey Governor's School in the Sciences. To you, Bret, to you, Regina, we thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to also having another one-on-one conversation. Every time I interview Governor Kean, I learn something new, and we'll do that in the very near future. All the best. Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
you got it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.